First contact and invasion. The orbital defense platform, Aegis 1, hung silently against the backdrop of Earth's blue atmosphere, its massive solar arrays glinting in the sunlight. Commander Skylar Chen stood at the observation deck, hands clasped behind her back, as she watched shuttles ferry personnel and supplies to and from the station. 20 years of service in Earth's unified defense force had not diminished her wonder at humanity's achievements in space. "Commander, we have an anomaly at the edge of the Kuiper Belt." Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice crackled through her comm unit. "Multiple objects approaching at near relativistic speeds." Chen frowned. Nothing natural moved that fast. "Alert all defense platforms and notify Earth Command." "I'm on my way." By the time she reached the command center, the situation had escalated dramatically. The holographic display showed hundreds of objects now, their trajectories clearly aimed at Earth. "They're slowing down, Commander," Rodriguez reported, his dark eyes reflecting the blue glow of the display. "And they're massive. Each one is approximately the size of Manhattan." Chen felt her throat tighten. "First contact," she whispered. Within hours, the alien vessels had positioned themselves in a perfect geometric formation just beyond Mars' orbit. Earth's military forces were already at full alert, but there was no aggression from the visitors, not yet. Instead, a transmission arrived simultaneously at every communication device on Earth and throughout the solar system. The alien that appeared on screens worldwide was vaguely humanoid, with crystalline skin that seemed to refract light from within. Its voice, translated through Earth's AI systems, was cold and precise. "People of Earth, we are the HFY Collective. Your species has been deemed a potential threat to galactic stability. Your technological development rate exceeds acceptable parameters. You will surrender all advanced technology and accept our governance, or your world will be cleansed. You have 6 Earth hours to comply." The message ended abruptly, leaving humanity in stunned silence. In Geneva, Earth's unified government convened an emergency session. Representatives from every nation gathered virtually as President Amara Okafor addressed them. "We will not surrender," she declared, her voice steady despite the enormity of the threat. "Humanity has never bowed to tyranny, and we will not start today. Our defense systems are ready, and we have preparations they don't know about." On Aegis 1, Commander Chen reviewed Earth's defensive capabilities. The station was one of 12 positioned strategically around Earth, each armed with kinetic, energy, and nuclear weapons. The lunar base housed the antimatter missile silos, and Mars had its own defensive grid. It was an impressive arsenal. But would it be enough against beings who could travel between stars? "Commander," Rodriguez called out, "we're receiving a priority transmission from Quantum Labs." "It's Dr. Patel." Chen nodded. Maya Patel had been her roommate at the academy before diverging into quantum physics research. Now she led Earth's most classified weapons development program. Dr. Patel's face appeared on the screen, her expression tense but determined. "Skylar, we're ready to deploy Project Prometheus. The quantum entanglement network is online, and we've integrated it with all defense platforms." "Will it work, Maya?" Chen asked quietly. "In theory, yes. In practice," Patel shrugged. "We've never had the chance to test it against actual alien technology. But it's our best shot." Project Prometheus had been Earth's best-kept secret for 15 years. A quantum-based defense system that could theoretically predict enemy movements seconds before they happened and adapt to any weapon signature instantaneously. As the 6-hour deadline approached, humanity held its collective breath. Military personnel said goodbye to loved ones. Civilians gathered in homes or public spaces, waiting. Religious leaders of all faiths offered prayers and comfort. Exactly at the deadline, the HFY ships advanced. They released thousands of smaller vessels that streaked toward Earth like a swarm of metallic insects. The first wave targeted Earth's defense platforms. "Braced for impact," Chen shouted as a cluster of alien fighters approached Aegis 1. She expected explosions, chaos, death. But instead, something extraordinary happened. Prometheus activated. A shimmering field of quantum energy enveloped each defense platform. When the alien weapons fired, strange beams of coherent energy, unlike anything humans had developed. The quantum fields not only absorbed the attacks, but seemed to analyze and adapt to them in real time. "It's working," Rodriguez exclaimed. "The shields are holding." Chen watched in amazement as Prometheus did more than merely defend. The system was learning, evolving with each attack. The quantum network connecting Earth's defenses began to pulse with newly acquired information. "All platforms, initiate counter-response," Chen ordered. "Follow Prometheus protocols." Earth's defense platforms fired in perfect synchronization. But instead of conventional weapons, they emitted precisely modulated energy pulses, derived from the aliens' own weapon signatures, but refined and amplified. The effect was devastating. The alien fighters exploded one after another, unable to defend against weapons based on their own technology, but optimized beyond their understanding. The main Severan fleet halted its advance. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then another transmission came through. The same crystalline being appeared, but its demeanor had changed. There was a flicker of what might have been uncertainty in its faceted eyes. "This is unexpected," it stated. "You possess technology that should be beyond your development stage. Explain." President Okafor herself responded, her image broadcast from the United Government headquarters. "We are not the primitive species you assumed us to be. We have developed in isolation, yes, but that has forced us to innovate in ways you clearly haven't anticipated. This is your opportunity to withdraw and reconsider your approach to first contact with Earth." The aliens' crystalline features hardened. "We do not withdraw. The collective has decreed your species must be controlled. We will escalate." The transmission cut off abruptly. Moments later, the main Severan vessels began to move, positioning themselves for what was clearly a planet-killing formation. "They're going to try to overwhelm Prometheus," Chen realized. "All platforms, prepare for maximum defensive operations." As the alien armada prepared its devastating attack, Dr. Patel's voice came through on a secure channel. "Skylar, we need to take it to the next level. Prometheus isn't just defensive. It has offensive capabilities we haven't activated yet." "What are you talking about?" Chen demanded. "The quantum entanglement can be reversed," Patel explained rapidly. "Instead of just adapting to their weapons, we can project the quantum field directly into their systems. Theoretically, we could take control of their entire fleet." Chen hesitated only briefly. "Do it." At Dr. Patel's command, Prometheus shifted from defensive to offensive operations. The quantum field expanded outward from Earth's defense network, reaching toward the Severan fleet in waves of invisible energy. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The alien vessels froze in space, their weapons powering down, their engines shutting off. One by one, lights flickered across their massive hulls as Earth's quantum field infiltrated and commandeered their systems. "My God," whispered Rodriguez, watching the display as the entire Severan fleet went dark. "Did we just win?" Commander Chen didn't answer immediately. She was watching a new transmission coming in, not from the alien command ship, but from within it. On the screen appeared not the crystalline being from before, but something entirely different, a biological entity, tentacled and vulnerable-looking, its eyes wide with what could only be described as fear. "We surrender," it said, its voice no longer cold and mechanical but organic and trembling. "Please, we surrender." The truth was revealed. The Severans weren't the crystalline beings at all. Those had been artificial constructs, protective shells for the actual aliens, beings who had evolved in the crushing depths of oceanic worlds and required special containment to survive in space. And humanity hadn't just defended Earth. They had exposed the greatest deception of one of the galaxy's oldest species, the counterattack and resolution. Within 12 hours of that Severan surrender, Earth's quantum infiltration had given humanity complete access to the alien fleet's database. What they discovered changed everything. Commander Skylar Chen stood before the United Government Security Council, the holographic displays showing information gleaned from the alien archives. The Exeverans aren't conquerors, she explained. They're refugees. Their home system was consumed by their sun's premature nova 3 centuries ago. Since then, they've been nomadic, conquering habitable worlds to establish new colonies. President Okafor leaned forward. Are you suggesting we should sympathize with them after they try to destroy us? No, Madam President. I'm explaining their motivation. Understanding your enemy is the first step toward deciding whether they must remain your enemy. Dr. Maya Patel joined the briefing, her normally neat appearance disheveled after 30 hours without sleep. There's more, she said. The Exeverans targeted us specifically because our quantum technology represents a fundamental threat to their method of conquest. They've subjugated 17 other species, none of whom developed along our technological path. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just repelled an invasion. They had demonstrated technological superiority over a species that had dominated a portion of the galaxy for centuries. What are our options? Asked General Santos, the highest-ranking military officer in Earth's forces. We could destroy them completely, Chen said matter-of-factly. Prometheus gives us that capability. Their ships are under our control. A heavy silence fell over the room. The power to annihilate an entire species was not a burden anyone had expected to bear that day. Or, Dr. Patel continued, we could establish terms. The Exeverans have knowledge of the galaxy that would advance our understanding by centuries. They have star maps, cultural databases, technological insights from multiple civilizations. President Okafor nodded slowly. Commander Chen, you will lead a delegation to the Exeveran command ship. Offer terms of surrender that protect Earth, but allow for the possibility of future cooperation. The journey to the Exeveran flagship was surreal. Chen, along with Dr. Patel and a small security team, traveled in an Earth shuttle that seemed primitive compared to the massive alien vessel they approached. The Exeveran ship was a city in space, home to thousands of the aquatic aliens in their life support chambers. They were met by a delegation of Exeverans, now visible in their true form, floating in specialized containment suits filled with their native liquid. Their leader, identified as Supreme Navigator Zilar, undulated nervously as they approached. We did not expect resistance of this magnitude. Zilar communicated through a translation device. In our experience, terrestrial species at your development stage are easily overwhelmed. Your experience was limited, Chen replied coolly. We developed in isolation, solving problems without outside influence. It made us innovative in ways you didn't anticipate. The negotiations lasted for hours. The Exeverans, initially resistant, became increasingly cooperative as they realized the extent of their vulnerability. With their ships under human control and no way to call for reinforcements from their distant colonies, they had no choice but to accept Earth's terms. Meanwhile, Dr. Patel made a discovery that changed the dynamic completely. Deep in the Exeveran databases, she found evidence that the alien's home star hadn't gone nova naturally. It was artificially triggered, she reported to Chen during a brief recess, by another species called the Thronin. The Exeverans aren't just conquerors. They're the victims of an even more advanced civilization. Chen's strategic mind immediately grasped the implications, so there's a third player in this game. One that might view both humans and Exeverans as threats. When negotiations resumed, Chen took a different approach. We've learned about the Thronin, she said directly. Zilar's tentacles contracted in what appeared to be shock. How could you know of them? The alien demanded. Your data security is as vulnerable to our quantum technology as your ships were, Chen replied. We know they destroyed your homeworld. We know you've been running from them for centuries, conquering worlds not just for colonies but for defensive positions. Zilar's translator fell silent as the alien communicated with its advisors in their native language, a series of ultrasonic pulses inaudible to human ears, but detected by Earth's sensors. Finally, the Exeveran leader responded. The Thronin are a plague upon the galaxy. They destroy any civilization that develops quantum manipulation technology. We sought to control your world before they detected your advancements and obliterated it, as they did ours. You could have warned us, Patil interjected. Asked for alliance instead of demanding surrender. Would you have believed us? Zeal, R countered. Would you have trusted alien warnings about other aliens you've never encountered? It was a fair point. Earth would likely have viewed any such warning with extreme skepticism. So where does that leave us now? Chen asked. The answer came not from the negotiations, but from Earth's long-range detection systems. 3 massive objects had appeared at the edge of the solar system, moving with impossible speed toward Earth. The Thronin have arrived. Zagilar announced, terror evident even through the translation. They must have detected your quantum field activation. Earth's military immediately went to maximum alert. The Exeveran fleet, still under human control, was repositioned defensively. President Okafor authorized full deployment of Prometheus and all conventional weapons. We need to coordinate, Chen told Zuzilar. Your knowledge of Thronin tactics combined with our quantum technology might give us a chance. For the first time in their history, humans and Severans prepared to fight alongside each other. Dr. Patel worked feverishly with Exeveran scientists to integrate their knowledge of Thronin weaknesses into Prometheus's operation. The Thronin ships that entered the solar system were unlike anything either humans or Exeverans had ever created, massive black spheres that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They moved with utter silence and precision, ignoring all attempts at communication. They never communicate, Zilar explained. They simply destroy. As the Thronin approached Mars' orbit, they launched their first attack, not energy weapons or missiles, but something far more insidious. Space itself seemed to warp around their targets, creating localized singularities that consumed matter completely. Several Exeveran ships vanished before Prometheus could adapt. Then the quantum field pulsed, analyzing the exotic physics of the Thronin weapons and formulating a counter-response. It's working, Patil exclaimed from the combined command center established on Aegis 1. Prometheus is learning how to generate anti-singularity fields. The battle that followed would later be described as the most significant moment in human history. Earth's quantum defense system, enhanced with Exeveran knowledge, created a protective bubble around the solar system. When the Thronin attempted to penetrate it, the bubble didn't just resist. It expanded, enveloping the attacking ships. For a moment, everything seemed to stop. The Thronin vessels hung motionless, trapped in quantum stasis. What's happening? President Okafor demanded, watching from Earth Command. Something unexpected, Patil replied, her voice filled with wonder. Prometheus isn't just defending, it's communicating. At a quantum level, it's establishing a dialogue with the Thronin ships. The communication wasn't in words or even conventional data. It was an exchange of pure information at the most fundamental level of reality. And when it was complete, the Thronin ships simply departed. They accelerated away from the solar system without further aggression, vanishing as suddenly as they had appeared. They left. Zilar's confusion was evident. In 3 centuries of conflict, we have never seen the Thronin retreat. Dr. Patil studied the quantum readings with growing excitement. They didn't retreat. They reassessed. Prometheus showed them something they'd never encountered before, a quantum technology that seeks communication rather than dominance. I think we just made first contact with the real Thronin. In the days that followed, a new understanding emerged. The Thronin weren't inherently destructive. They were incomprehensibly alien, a species that experienced reality primarily through quantum interactions. They had destroyed the Exeveran homeworld not out of malice, but because Exeveran quantum experiments had caused them pain in ways neither species could previously communicate. Earth now stood at a unique crossroads, the only known world that could communicate with both the Exeverans and the Thronin. In less than a day, Humanity had gone from fighting for survival to potentially mediating a centuries-old galactic conflict. As Commander Chen stood on the observation deck of Aegis 1, watching Earth rotate serenely below, she reflected on how quickly everything had changed. "Quite a view," Dr. Paddle said, joining her. "Hard to believe that yesterday we thought we were alone in the universe." Chen smiled. "And today we're negotiating interstellar peace accords. The Exeverans are already talking about establishing an embassy on Earth," Patel noted. "And the Thronen have invited us to send a quantum communication team to study their civilization." Humanity was never going to enter the galactic stage quietly, were we? Chen mused. "Would you have it any other way?" Patil asked, looking out at the stars that now represented possibilities rather than just distant lights. Commander Chen shook her head. "No," she said firmly. "This is exactly who we are. We didn't just survive first contact. We thrived." In the vast darkness of space, Earth glowed blue and green. No longer just a solitary world, but the newest and perhaps most unexpected power in the galaxy. The aliens had declared war on humanity, and they hadn't lasted a day. But what had emerged instead was something far more valuable than victory. It was a beginning.